Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of A Little Bit of Magic with. I have a wonderful guest with me tonight, but before we move on to her amazing interview that I'm going to do, because it's usually Disney, but this time it's going to be literally a wide variety of everything, and I'm so looking forward to this interview. I'm going to quickly go through some news with you. So let's start. So obviously we are starting off with some information about cast members being on strike at Disneyland Paris. So this happened literally yesterday and the other day, and the Princess Pavilion was closed, as well as Mickey and Magician and Dream and Shine Brighter was closed as well. They had shows earlier on in the day, but in the afternoon, that's when they took a strike. So previously they had taken strikes down to pay concerns, and basically Disneyland Paris hired new cast members, which then made the new cast members have higher rates of pay compared to the normal cast members who were already working there. So that is a topic that might be the reason why they're striking. Also, alongside that, France are currently having a new reform bill to do with pensions, and that basically is increasing the pension age from 62 to 64. So there's multiple factors of why they possibly have done a strike recently, but we'll have to find out with more information coming on soon. Moving on, we have park passes at Disneyland news. So basically, if you're a Disneyland guest, you can now change your park reservations without having to cancel anything. What you have to do is you have to go online to the actual website. You can't do this through the actual app. And basically, what you can do is change your day, and it won't feel as so confusing as what they want to make and enhance the guests' magic experience. However, some people are still getting quite confused with what's going on, so we'll have to see how that pans out. So, trials at Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom. This week, and currently the last 2 weeks, they have been testing out a new way to use lightning lanes. And basically what they have done is they've placed mobile lightning lanes, and there's 3 new ones just at the entrance of Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom. And this is to try and prevent crowds forming around the entrance and blocking each other. So we'll have to see how that works out as well. And it's happened because of the capacity for the parks has increased since obviously the COVID restrictions have started to be lifted. Star Wars have got a Pride collection just as much as Marvel has, and Disneyland Paris has, and Walt Disney World and all Disney parks have a Pride collection. Of course, Pride Month is coming up, but Star Wars collection got me really excited. I mean, look at these droids just there. And basically, it's already available in Magic Kingdom at Tomorrowland launch shop. So go there if you're in Magic Kingdom currently. Disney Parks Chairman Josh Giamore, I don't know if that's how you say it, is going to be doing a live stream answering questions and giving answers, all things Disney Parks coming up. And that will be on May the 22nd, so not too far to go. If you can't watch the live streams, which all the times are just here, then basically the recording will be put on to the investors' website, so you can check that out as well. Unfortunately, I don't believe that we can actually give our questions in advance, so we just have to sit and watch it, but we'll be able to find out what other plans there are for the Disneyland parks coming up in the future. And basically, the headquarters have just been announced that they were originally for the Imagineers going to move from California to Florida. However, with the difficulties, shall we say, currently happening with the governor of Florida and the Disney company, it has been announced that they are going to stay in California. So the ones who have already moved over to Florida now have to go back. So we're going to have to see how that pans out as well. Disney are to release a new game, and I'm so excited for this. It reminds me of Top Trumps a bit, but it seems a little bit different as well. So basically, it's going to be like collecting of Pokemon cards, or top trump cards, but I like to say Pokemon cards because Pokemon is cool and you can get different things. So you can get characters or you can get items or songs, and it's all from within the Disney universe. And each character, title, or song has certain points and abilities. So basically there's 60 cards that you can get all together, and you can get them as packages that are already made, or you can try and collect them or swap and see how you do. And then if you wanted to play an actual game, you'd have to play with someone else who obviously has the cards. So for instance, if me and my interviewee today were face to face and we were going to have a game, either she or myself would have to have 20 cards to win the game. So it's going to be quite exciting. So basically it's being tried out at a games expedition or expo, I think that's the word, in August. Then it's going to be slowly released throughout August, and then it will be mainstream releases in September. So look out for that. And if you're not already, please go and subscribe to Tori in Wonderland, who is my magical guest for today. Her link will be dropped down in the comments later on. And if not, you can go over to our Instagram pages and all the information will be there too. And if you have any other questions, just drop me a message, or Tori, just search for her and you'll be able to find it. And I'm going to plug myself like usual. Please go and like and subscribe to my channel. And I would love all the shares and anything that you do. And I'm grateful for everyone who watches currently as well. So thank you very much for that. Now, without further ado, I am going to be adding my guest, Tori in Wonderland.
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. Hello. I can't see you anymore. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I am back.
You back?
What happened then? I am so sorry.
I found that so funny. How are you? I'm back.
But yes, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm very excited to have you, and let's hope there's no more mishaps going on. I don't know what happened just then. So thank you everyone for joining. We have Oscar's airtime, so I'm guessing that's M who's joining. We've got Nick Goes Travelling, and we've got the Trek and Taylors joining us as well. I don't know if it's both Trek and Taylors or just one. I don't know. Say hello, whoever you are. And today we are going to be talking about like the most variety of things that I've done on my show so far. So basically, we got someone here who loves you. Let's have a show. Do you know who the person is?
That's my best friend Riss. My newest YouTube video is basically about her. She's from Colorado, so yeah, a little bit away.
So basically, before we move on, I want to know, because I've seen it on your YouTube before, that you have done swaps with friends in America. So is Riz one of your friends who you've swapped like sweets with or merchandise with?
Yeah, so basically me and Riss became friends through our mutual love of our favourite band, Water Parks.
Okay.
And so when they do tours in America, she gets me their merch. When they do tours over here, I get her the merch from over here. And then it just became a thing. We just kept like sneaking extra goodies in each other's packages. So yeah, she started sending me food from like her local chocolate factory, and so I started sending her British foods, and it just kept going on like that.
And what is your favorite food that you've received that we don't currently have over in the UK?
She sent me some, like, is it Hershey's, the chocolate bar, I think. I wasn't a massive fan of that, but she sent me these little truffles from a local factory. They were really good. It was like a little selection box.
Oh, awesome. I love truffles. Well, I used to love truffles, but that's awesome. And Riz, if you're still on, let me know what Tori gave you that you really liked as well. So water parks is a big feature in your life. Like, I've known it for such a long time. For people who don't know water parks, who are water parks and why do you like them?
So water parks are a American like rock alternate pop punk kind of music band, and yeah, if you didn't know, they're my favorite band. I think I became a fan of them in 2016. It's been a while. And yeah, I like that kind of music, and just like he's the lead singer, his like worky personality just like hooked me.
Yeah.
And
Can you compare them to any UK band, or are they literally just your main focus in music?
you can't. Their music genre is like so varied. You can't really compare them to another band. I suppose bands like Busted is like the closest British band I guess I could like compare it to for you to know. But yeah, their music is just uncomparable to like find someone to match it with.
Oh wow! And you've been to see them like many times over here now as well, and you've had meet and greets as well. That looks incredible.
Yeah, I've met them twice, and I'm meeting them again on Halloween, which
Oh wow!
exciting because my birthday's on the 29th of October.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be very cool. Yeah, I've met them twice and I've seen them live 10 times.
that is incredible. You're basically me, but I have McFly. So Riz has said that she loved the strawberry laces that you basically sent recently. So strawberry laces used to be my all-time favorite. And I know that in Disneyland Paris, you can get these so long ones. Have you tried the ones there?
Yeah.
What are your favorite snacks at any Disney park, or both Disney parks that you've been to?
My go-to every trip, I have to get popcorn. That's just my
Yeah.
go-to. But in Florida, the first thing that comes, I don't know if it really counts as a snack. It's more of a drink. I had this Dole Whip, but it was called I Lava You float.
Okay.
And it was like a Dole Whip slush, and that was, oh my God, it was just so good.
Is
Other
that
than
the
that,
Simba?
sorry?
Is that the Simba one?
No. I don't know what it's inspired by. Because literally when I got that, it was during the hottest point of the day. We went to go on Jungle Cruise. The cast member was like, "It's too hot." They could obviously tell we were British and struggling in the heat. Gave
Yeah.
us a fast pass to go back in 20 minutes after we'd cooled down a bit, and so we went and got that drink. So I think my brain was just in too fog to remember where it was. That's all I can remember about it.
I must admit, like, basically, the Dole Whips are just to die for. And it's the lava short, apparently. So, yeah.
It was good. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was in basically Animal Kingdom, and I know it was Simba based, and it was basically Dole Whip with like
Mhm.
strawberry sauce. Oh, it was so good, so good. And also, Trek and Taylors want to know: is it the one with strawberry Fanta?
It might be actually. Yeah. Because it was like red and was tropical tasting, so it might be that.
Awesome, cool. And what is the least favorite Disney food that you've ever had?
This is going to be really controversial.
Okay.
Pretzels.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, no, I don't like them.
Not even if you had something to go with them?
No, I tried it with those. It came with a cheese dip, and I just ended up having the cheese dip and just kind of licking it off my finger. I just don't like pretzels.
So Nick Goes Traveling, first of all, said that I Love You is based on a short before Inside Out, which
Okay.
is awesome. And then we have one that is saying, what? You don't like pretzels?
I told you, I knew. Like, whenever people post like their Disney pretzels on Instagram, I end up just commenting, going, "Oh yeah, this looks so nice. Oh, that
Yeah.
looks delicious." And I'm like, Tori, don't start something in the comments.
So did I remember correctly when I met you that you said you're vegetarian?
Mhm.
So you've never tried the turkey legs?
Nope.
No. Okay. Basically, quite a lot of people are saying that turkey legs are a no-go for them. So I
I
was
think
just wondering what your
even if
opinion
I
is.
was a meat eater, just the whole idea of it just still looks disgusting. Like it just looks greasy and
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so Nick said that basically she's definitely going to get you a pretzel picture for you, just specifically for you. So have you ever had, going back to the popcorn just quickly, the maple popcorn from Canada?
I didn't. I didn't get any snacks in Canada while I was in Epcot. I really wish I did because I've seen people posting about it, and weird flavored things like that is up my alley. Because like I've
Yeah,
seen all like the flavored popcorns you can get from Tokyo and like all the bizarre flavors they do there. They look
yeah,
straight up my alley, so I'm really gutted I didn't get the maple ones.
yeah. They are good. And your friend Riz was basically saying she basically feels like you about the turkey legs. So
Weird.
it doesn't look good, I must admit. Now they're doing it in the Last Chance Cafe, and the pictures, like, I
No,
don't get
on
how.
my last Paris trip, there was a couple trying them, and like you know how at Disney everyone uses the bins as a table anyway.
Yeah.
I just walked past and saw these two people with turkey legs dripping with grease, eating them over a bin, and I was like, "This ain't the Disney magic."
And the Tokyo popcorn is the best, apparently. So white chocolate Tokyo Disney Sea sounds amazing.
That sounds like the dream.
Have you ever decided, I love the Disney popcorn so much, that you're going to get one of those huge bottles that they have at Paris?
I'm always tempted to, but it's always been something my mum has talked me out of. She's like, "You don't need that."
Just think about all the things that you could collect, all the money that you could collect to put in there ready for your next Disney trip. That's the way I think you need to convince your mum.
Yeah, that'd make it. So I've got like a little jar in my room where like I put all my pennies, and when I get tips from work, I put them in there, and it all obviously adds up over time. And then I've got a special bank account especially for Disney savings, so then I'll
Okay.
transfer it into there. What you were just saying about that would make it really cool. I could turn that bottle
Yeah.
into the money jar.
Yeah. I'm not just a pretty face. Trek and Taylor have said, which snack would you get rid of and why? Turkey legs, but of course, why turkey legs? But in a general question, what snack would you get rid of and why?
Okay, so the first thing that came to my mind is it's kind of a bit of a cheating question. I first went to Casey's Corner and thought get rid of some of the hot dogs and bring in more veggie hot dogs and have like a half and half. Because at the
Okay.
moment we only have at Disneyland Paris anyway, we only have the chili hot dog which is vegetarian, and I don't do spicy things. But I still want to enjoy a hot dog at Casey's Corner like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And I learnt that I was allowed the hot dog when I went to Casey's in Walt Disney World. However, Paris, I'm not allowed it. So Paris
Mhm.
need to up their game. Definitely. I agree with that. So basically, I can see in the background that you love a certain character or characters. Would you like to share why you have a love for the 100 Acre Wood Gang?
I've been asked that question so much over the years of having Tori In Wonderland, and I can never like pinpoint a definite answer. Pooh's just been a character that's been in my life for like as long as I can remember, and it's just been like a comfort character to me. And obviously, over the years, I've just like accumulated all this stuff, and to the point of here I am now.
And is Pooh Bear your favorite out of the gang?
He is.
Okay, and who is your least favorite if you had to choose, and why?
You know, that's funny. The other day, I did a Q&A on my story, and Courtney asked me to rank the 100 Acre Wood characters, and I just replied no.
Okay,
um, but okay,
you,
my least favorite. I can probably do that for you. A woozle. Just all the woozles.
okay,
All of them.
okay, fair enough. So that wasn't too hard to pick, really.
Just all the bad guys.
So you recently have got into dressmaking, or basically I've only learned recently that you've got into dressmaking.
Mhm.
You recently designed a Winnie the Pooh outfit. So what is your favorite design that you've made?
Ooh. I've been sewing. I did it as a GCSE. You know, how long ago was that? 7 years ago. And I got an A star in it, surprisingly.
Wow.
So I've made quite a lot
Congratulations.
over the years. I think that dress, so that was probably the biggest project I've made in a while. What was my favorite though? Um, so I don't know if there's a picture of me somewhere on the screen, but it's my Tori In Wonderland logo, like the picture of me kissing Pooh on the cheek. It's quite an
Yeah,
infamous photo.
yeah,
That entire outfit is made by me, including the shoes.
that is amazing. That's
I
the
think
fact
that's
that
probably
you've done the shoes as well is just incredible. Like, you've got talent.
Thank you.
So I basically, just a random fact, I had to do textiles in GCSE and I was really bad at it, shall I say. But my mum's a dressmaker, so I got her to do all the coursework and stuff for me, and I passed.
It's really funny looking back on it now. At the parents' evening before GCSE, my teacher said to my parents that Tori's so bad at this, she can't do anything. She's not going to get anything more than a D. And then I came out of an A star, and now I'm here making all my own outfits. I think I've done quite a few TikToks of them. I don't buy new emo outfits. I make them. I knit them.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, if she can see me now.
I've only just started to get into knitting and I can only do one type of knit at the moment, and that's like the plain. So, and that's taken me like 2 years. Nick goes traveling saying that she loved that dress that you've recently showed. See, people love your stuff. You need to like do just like segments in your stories of like how your process of creating stuff. I think people would be really interested in that.
My mum's asked me if I can make her a version of the dress. She's picked out all the fabrics she wants for it. So I'm going to make that before we go to Cardiff in September so she can wear it there. And my plan is to do a step-by-step reel of how I make it, because it's actually really simple. All you need to do is cut squares and sew in a straight line. And if you know how to do that, you can make that dress.
Still need to teach me. I think I need it. And what materials do you like making with? So I know there's different types of materials. What's your type of material?
So, but I'm a real cheapskate. Everything I do is cheap. So, and obviously fabric, especially Disney licensed fabric, is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So that entire dress and most of the things I've made recently are with something called fat quarters.
Okay.
And so you get like, I'm not sure the exact measurements. It's like a square size. You get like 5 different patterns in a pack. Hobbycraft do them. I think it's 3 for £18 or something like that. And you can just get so much. I think they're just a cottony material, but you can make so many projects out of them. And you get so many things. I have a whole drawer with them. I'm obsessed with them.
That's amazing. You definitely need to teach me. We should do a Zoom one-to-one. So with your outfits, obviously you've worn them when you go to Disney. Has Disney ever said that there's something that you can't wear and you have to basically change?
No, well, none of my outfits at Disney have never said anything about them. Because I don't, when I like my outfits and like my kind of bounding, it's very like minimal kind of bounding.
Yeah.
I've never and like with the dresses and like with that one, because it's spaghetti straps, like when I wore it out in Cambridge the other day, and if I was to wear it in the parks, I had a little top on underneath.
Yeah.
Just in case any slip ups.
Yeah. I was just curious because obviously, like you said, there's Disney licensed fabric, but maybe like in the park, something that they can't do. I know for cosplayers, that's definitely a no-no, or wearing really long gowns, definitely a no-no. I was just curious if you've ever come across anything like that before.
Yeah, no, I've never something I've personally experienced any issues with.
And have you ever had cast members or guests coming up to you saying, "Where's that from? How did you do that?" You have.
Yeah.
Gone.
Quite a few occasions. Like I remember when I was getting off the People Mover in Magic Kingdom, the cast member was asking me about an outfit. And I was like, I made it. And she's like, oh my God, would you be able to make me one? I was like, no, I'm from England.
Have you ever considered creating your own Etsy store?
I have, because I've had so many people inquire about it. If I can, like, especially when I started knitting outfits for my new Mimos, everyone was like, that would be a cool business, Tori. But just with like the time, I don't think I'd have the time to sit there and make things for other people.
Yeah. And maybe it might take away your happiness of making it just yourself.
Yeah, I think that's come across too as well, because when I like make something for me and like make the things for the new emos, it's like a one-off thing. And everything I make, I don't pre-plan. I literally sit there and I'm like, right, we'll figure this out as we go along.
Yeah.
So like with my Winnie the Pooh, I just knitted him a bumblebee costume. I just sat there with my knitting needles and figured it out. I probably wouldn't be able to recreate it again for someone else. And like with my sewing, I sit there and I like figure out a problem as we get to it. I never write anything down. I just do it as I go.
That's me with cross stitch. I recognise the mistake and I have to go back again and just, yeah. And Trek and Taylor basically said that she doesn't think, or he, I don't know who's talking, that you're allowed to resell licensed fabric products, but you can make and wear them for yourself, which is something I didn't know. Did you know that fact?
A shop that I buy a lot from, she creates her own fabrics in order to avoid that issue. So I think I have been aware of that before, yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. So before we carry on talking about Disney, I just want to say, anyone in chat, if you have any questions for Tori, please don't be scared. Drop them in the comments and we can answer them. I'll say Tori can answer them. And before we carry on with Disney talk as well, I want to know, you have been to so many different countries.
Mhm.
So I think I know there's multiple reasons why you've done that. Is one of them going to different theme parks?
Yeah, I think so. I've been to 25 countries, and literally all of those countries, bar minus like one or two, literally I can name those one or two, have been for either theme parks or Speedway. Because I think I've got the list on my phone. I've been to like 22, 23 theme parks across
wow.
25 countries. So yeah.
That is incredible. What is your favorite one that you've been to?
Theme park or countries?
Favorite theme park so far?
Theme park. Other than Disney?
Other than Disney, yes.
Okay, that's easy. Actually, no, I said that's easy and then I had another one come to my mind. Either Europa Park in Germany.
Okay.
Or Phantasialand. Oh no, it's at Gardaland. No, yeah, Gardaland. I love Gardaland. I've been there a few times. That's in Italy.
Okay, so what are these like consisting of? Is it like Disney? Is it a special theme or is it just different rides?
So I'll focus on Europa Park because that's probably the easiest. That's Europe's biggest theme park aside from Disney. And a lot of people do compare it to Europe's version of Epcot. Because that's pretty much what it is.
Okay. But without the spaceship.
No, they've got their own version of that as well.
No way.
They've got their own big golf ball.
That is incredible. I'll have to look it up after. And so is it literally just like different countries that's based around the park?
I haven't been in a good like 5 years, but I think it's only based on like European countries, I think.
Yeah.
That's what's like coming to mind. But yeah, and I don't do it's quite ironic that I do so many theme parks, but I don't do roller coasters.
Yeah. You're just one of those people that, oh, the bags.
Yeah.
Nick goes traveling.
People mover, they're me.
Yeah.
Barnstormer in Magic Kingdom is as far as I go on a roller coaster.
Oh, really? Oh,
I have no shame in admitting I was clinging onto my dad's arm for life.
So, have you been to Fort Park?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, have you been on Flying Fish? But that's fine, no worries. Nick was saying that she would love to go to Europa Park. So, for someone who's never been, what would you recommend?
Oh my god, it's literally like Germany's answer to Disney. Like literally so many of the rides you can compare. They do parades as well. They have characters. You can meet their park mascot. They have got a ride inside their ball, but I can't remember what it is. And I literally just learned the other day because they've shared it on Facebook. You can get a direct train from London to Europa Park with one change at Lille in France.
Oh, wow.
I only learned that the other day and I was like, that's pretty cool. Because I drove all the times I've been. So that's pretty cool.
That is amazing. That's really good to know. Maybe it's easier for me to get to now, but I'd never heard of it until you said it. So thank you for sharing. And again, Nick is basically saying that Gardaland is amazing. So for anyone who's not been, and I didn't even know about it, what would you recommend?
Okay, so if you go to Gardaland, as you can tell by the name, it's right next to Lake Garda. So you need a day for that in itself, because that's a beautiful. How many times have I done Gardaland? I think like 3 or 4 times. I haven't been to that in quite a while, but that has got a lot more thrill rides to it. So
Okay.
if you're like a big roller coaster fan, that is quite a good one for you. And it's in
Okay.
Italy, so you know the food's going to be amazing.
Yes, Italy, definitely. I have seen people going on about Ferrari Land. So there is ride which is like super high and it's like completely see-through.
I've seen that
Would
where
you,
it shoots off and then it goes up. Yeah.
would you ever do it?
Nope.
Have you ever done any ride that is like see-through? So like on the ground and it's like completely see-through.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
I'd be terrified. Terrified.
Yeah.
I've been at the Shard and it's see-through on some of the floor and no,
I'm not
terrifies me.
I'm not scared of heights, but it's just one of those like unnerving things. Like I wouldn't be able to walk on a glass floor like at the Shard.
Yeah, no way. Nick's also saying about going to Lake Como when you're down that way too. So again, I don't know anything about that, but it's something that we should all learn about. Have you heard about Lake Como?
I've heard about it. I don't think I've been.
Okay, cool. So talking about lakes and stuff, I was looking up earlier about Disney cruises and obviously water and stuff. Have you ever done a Disney cruise?
Yeah, I did the staycation on the Disney Magic back in September 2021.
Okay, and what happened then? Like, how explain us the situation of what happened?
So I did the 3-night cruise, and it all depended on which port you went to, because obviously this was like during semi-lockdown, so you didn't actually go to like any places. I went from Southampton,
Yeah.
and so you sailed out, and we just went up the English Channel and like down like to, I think we just hit the tip of Spain, and then we like looped back round, and we had 2 days on the cruise. There was a Marvel day, and like all the Disney characters were dressed up as Marvel characters. And yeah, I was it's funny you said this. Me and my mum were looking at doing a Disney cruise next year for a Scandinavia tour.
Yeah.
So I'm very tempted by one of those again.
I was tempted when I was looking it up earlier. I was just, part of me is like, oh, it's going to be truly magical. Another part of me is like, how much can you actually do on a cruise? Like,
There's
yes,
so
you have the
much.
shops and restaurants, but is it
Yeah.
worth it really?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What would you say is the least least enjoyable thing of going on a cruise, if there is one?
Okay, this is coming from my point of view, but I guess it's different for everyone else. And I know this is gonna sound really bad, but it was just all of the kids screaming. Whereas like in a Disney park, you can kind of escape kids a bit, but
Yeah.
when you're on a boat in the middle of the sea, you're only limited. But on that half, they do have adult only sections. There's an adult only pool, there's an adult only restaurant, there's an adult only bar. So you
Okay.
can escape from kids on the Disney cruise.
Okay, that's really good, because I know I was looking it up and it said like you can get different decks of where you stay, and there's like a kid level and mixture level. So I was like, oh, okay. No, I was just curious because I don't know, it just doesn't seem that appealing if there's only limited things. Like I'm so used to like having Adventureland, Tomorrowland, and everything like that, and then to cram it into such a small space, it's hard to believe that you'd have so much fun. But thank you very much for sharing that. What has been your least favorite theme park that you've been to?
That is very easy. I think I mentioned it when I was a viewer on your show a couple of weeks ago. That is my local theme park, Pleasurewood Hills.
Okay, so why is it your least favorite?
It's just so bad. Don't go.
Is it like the first park you went to as well?
No.
Oh, it's not. What was the first park you went to?
Disneyland Paris was my first theme park.
Okay, so it's obviously like very close to your heart then.
Yeah. I only went to Pleasurewood Hills because it's 20 minutes down the road. It was a school trip in middle school, and I was the only person that didn't want to go. And so I didn't want to be the only person staying at school.
Yeah. Mind you, I've done that before where I was like, I don't want to go on trips, and then like had a really awesome day. But yeah, I understand why you did
I went
that.
on the carousel and I got popcorn and I was done.
Have you ever gone to zoos at all?
Oh, I love zoos, yeah. I
Do you?
studied animal management at college.
Yeah.
So we were going to zoos like every term. At the end of year 2, we did a tour in Holland of 5 zoos in 5 days.
Wow.
I've done quite a lot of zoos in the UK. Every country I go to, I try and do a zoo there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done my fair share of zoos.
So, do you count them as theme parks? Because I have a way that I do, but I was just curious, do you?
Well, I haven't been, but now you've said that, I could probably get my theme parks list up to like 60 if I count zoos.
Because the way I see it is a zoo is an attraction, obviously, but they have different segments, don't they? So
Yeah.
different segments have different themes. So if it's a park and it's themed, is it a theme park?
Yeah, because now you're saying that, and I was talking about it the other day. Chester Zoo quite often gets compared to like Animal Kingdom for the UK because obviously they do Dole Whip,
Yeah.
and it's just like I think what our best zoo over here. So
Yeah. Cool. And have you ever been to Chessington as well?
Chesington, yeah, that's my favourite British theme park, I think.
Oh, really? Sorry, 1 second. My laptop's dying. My cat's going crazy with the wire. So, sorry, Billy. Talking about animals, you have your dog, don't you?
I have little Eddie. He's not
Oh,
here to say hi, but I think if people follow me on Instagram, they're fully aware of him. He's my baby.
so he's not got a name related to Disney.
He's named after 2 things, one Disney, one very not Disney.
Okay.
So his Disney name is so legally on all certificates his name is Edward.
Okay.
It's also Edward when he's naughty. And so Edward is named after Edward Bear.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, exactly.
But his actual name, how we came up with Eddie, because I came up with Edward Bear after we named him. I was like,
Okay.
oh my god, that fits. We got Eddie 2 months after my granddad passed away. And
Okay.
my granddad was the biggest Eddie Stobart fan you could ever meet. He loved lorries and everything like that. And we were sat around looking at the adverts for puppies online. And we had granddad's Eddie Stobart coaster collection on our table. And, we're just there putting our drinks on and off of it while talking about puppies. And we went, oh, Eddie.
That's a great connection, actually, to have that name and the 2 different collections. It's really good. Your friend Riz wants to know, what's your favorite animal to see at the zoo?
Oh, okay. I was talking about this with one of my college friends the other day about like rare animals we see at zoos, and we were saying like how many we've seen at different zoos. First thing that came to my mind was manatees.
Okay.
Love them. Obviously, I've seen them in Florida. I don't think we have any in zoos in the UK, which is disappointing. I've seen a few in Holland, a few all over the place. They are just beautiful creatures. Pandas. I've seen quite a few pandas, which I feel very lucky for. And then the other one is, it's a mixed feelings because I love seeing them. They're so fascinating. I've done several essays on them, but it's also so sad seeing them in captivity, and that's polar bears.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen polar bears in Inverness Wildlife Park, and it's nice. And like you say, it's sad as well at the same time. I love ocelots. Have you seen an ocelot before?
Love ocelots, yeah.
They are so adorable. So you studied animal care. That's what you're saying. And do you work with animals or do you not?
Yeah. So as you'd have been fully aware, trying to get me to come on here on a schedule, my days are fully booked. So I work a full-time job, and then on the side of that, I work at a hedgehog rescue centre, and that's like what I did with my qualifications. I decided to go down the route that does not pay anything. I just got so passionate over wildlife, and then I
Yeah,
found the charity, and they just kind of like took me under their wing, and then I've been there ever since, and hedgehogs have become my passion.
yeah. I love hedgehogs because I worked at I volunteered and studied there, and I just fell in love with hedgehogs. Like they are so gorgeous, and little baby ones before their spikes grow, and oh, they're so adorable. Okay, so moving on, before we go back to Disney,
Hmm.
you like something called Speedway.
I do.
What is Speedway?
So, Speedway is an extremely dangerous, stupidly dangerous motorsport. It is so they're motorbikes powered at 500cc engines. They are pure methanol fuel. They have a faster acceleration than an F1 car. I
Oh
think it's
wow.
0 to 60 miles per hour in 0.2 seconds or something like that, something silly. And the thing that makes Speedway, that makes it different to any other motorsport, they have no brakes.
Wow. At that speed and no brakes. That is scary actually to think about. So how do like how do they stop if there's no brakes?
So they do 4 laps of the track, which is one race.
Yeah.
And once you finish cross the finish line, you just take your hand off the throttle to slow down, and then their left foot, which is on the inside of the track, has a steel cap over it. So
Yeah.
you just kind of drag that along the floor, and it like slows you down.
That is it's still scary. I know that basically there's a I've forgotten what it's called, but like you get really old cars and you go racing and then they like it doesn't matter how battered they get. It's just like
Banger racing, yeah.
yeah, that looks cool, but Speedway sounds petrifying.
I've
So
seen
say
my fair I've seen my fair share of big crashes. I don't So I'm on a mission to try and promote Speedway because it's a very dying out sport in the UK, and so that's like my mission to like try and promote it. Whenever people ask me like about crashes and things like that, that's the one thing I won't talk about because I have seen a big some big things in my time.
yeah. Yeah, I'm getting like my stomach's just tensing up thinking about it. So yeah, we won't talk about that. Nick wants to know, how did you get into Speedway?
So it's not really a case of how I got into it. I've never been not in it. So let's wind the clock back 27 years.
Okay.
So I'm a supporter of Ipswich Witches. Obviously, that's where I'm from. That's my team. My parents met on a coach trip arranged by the Ipswich Witches Supporters Club for a World Cup being hosted in Bradford, and they met on that coach trip.
Okay.
So if it wasn't for Speedway, you wouldn't have Tori In Wonderland.
We've got a lot to thank Speedway for then.
So yeah, I've been going to Speedway before I can walk, talk. There's pictures of me in the pits in a buggy. There's pictures of me of riders, like when I'm knee high to a grasshopper. And yeah,
Wow,
I've grew up with Speedway.
that is wow. And James from Coastal Chicken is basically saying that they had a Speedway track local to them, but it closed. So that's sad. It's basically saying what you said about the sport is dying
Mm,
down. Is
mm.
Speedway, I might be like really stupid, but is Speedway kind of like MotoGP?
Not really.
Okay, that's me being stupid then. Right, before we carry on, I've got a new quiz book here. So it's not like I usually do. So I need to pick a quiz and then I need to pick the page to get the answers. So let's do animated classics and we'll get the answers on page 274. Aha.
No.
Right. So this is how it works. I'm going to give you 5 questions.
Mhm.
You need to try and answer it before the chat does. If you get it first, you get the point. If not, the chat gets the point. Are you ready?
Okay.
So it's based on animated classics for Disney. In Lilo and Stitch, what city does Stitch build a model of when he then destroys? In Lilo and Stitch, what city does Stitch build a model of which he then destroys?
No, I haven't watched Lilo and Stitch in ages. I'm sorry.
To give you a clue, it's a city that people compare to Walt Disney World.
City that people compare to Walt Disney World.
No one in the chat right yet. Pardon?
The first thing that came to my head was New York for some reason. I don't know why.
No. San Francisco. Neither you nor the chat have got it right. So sorry, chat, and sorry, you, Tori. Okay, right. In The Great Mouse Detective, who kidnaps Hiram and Oliver Flaversham? In The Great Mouse Detective, who kidnaps Hiram and Olivia Flaversham?
I don't know.
Chat, let's see if you know. Well, someone's not seen The Great Mouse Detective in a long time. I love how James is basically saying to the previous question, London. The answer for that question is fidget. So, yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time, I'll be honest.
When Peter defeats Hook, what does he force Hook to call himself?
What, to call Hook himself, or Hook calls Peter?
No, Peter wants Hook to call himself. I think that's what it means.
Peter Pan's one of my favourite movies.
It's not Walk the Plank, but I do like that. When Peter defeats Hook, what does he force Hook to call himself?
No, all I can picture is Hook getting eaten by the croc.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
A codfish.
No, I could have got that.
Okay, so that's 3 questions. Let's move on to this. In 101 Dalmatians, how do Pongo and Perdita, I can never pronounce her name, send out the alert that their puppies have been stolen? And James, they're tough, but that's the reason why you should come and join my Zoom quizzes when I do the Disney trivia. Just saying.
How do they send out the alert that the puppies have been stolen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the chat got it. It is barking.
That's what I wanted to say, but I don't know why I didn't say it. That's the only obvious answer, their dog story.
Okay, and let's do this. Okay, let's say this. Tinkerbell appears in which other animated classic?
It's not her own, the Disney Fairies, is it? That's not a classic, is it?
No. Tinkerbell appears in which other animated classic?
Is it like as an Easter egg, or is she actually her, like...
I'm not too sure because I've actually not seen this film. Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, I love that.
I wanted to say the first thing that came to my head was Pinocchio, but then when you said you haven't seen the movie, I was like, oh, maybe it's something a bit more absurd than...
Okay, it has a colour within its name. Chat, see if that helps you. It has a colour in its name.
I'm
5,
stumped.
4, 3, 2, 1. No, it's The Black Cauldron.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the reason. Shall I give you another one just because you haven't seen that? Okay, let's go back to 101 Dalmatians then. What is Roger's last name in 101 Dalmatians? Nick did get the score. Well done, Nick.
At least someone's in it. Roger
His last name.
Smith.
No, Radcliffe. Oh dear. Well, Tori, you did good. Well done as well. And if you do have any questions for Tori while we're still doing our live, please don't forget to drop them in the comments. And maybe chats are delayed, but you know what? It's fine. The fact that you're still taking part is what matters. Okay, going back to Disney now. So behind you, I see there are a lot of Funko Pops, like a lot. First of all, how many do you own?
Okay, I counted up the other day because someone asked me, and I think I counted 75.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're close enough to my mini ear collection. And is a Winnie the Pooh one of your favorites?
Yeah, I think the one with Christopher Robin and Pooh that I got from Florida is my favorite.
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah. And are they only of Winnie the Pooh that you have?
I'd say 60% of my collection is Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
I collect all of the Loki Funkos. I collect all Mary Poppins Funkos. I have the entire It's a Small World collection. I collect a few Star Wars. And then I collect a few classics and a few princesses, but mainly Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Okay, and we're going to go back to something that you've mentioned in a bit, but I also know that you collect Loungeflies.
Mm-hmm.
So are they all Winnie the Pooh based?
I think 80% of that is Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Okay, and how many Loungeflies do you have? Do you know?
25?
Okay, so would you say you're a collector of Loungeflies?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think what a lot of people forget with Loungeflies is they're more than the bags. I have 25 bags. I have 3 Loungefly ears, and I have 10 Loungefly pins.
Yeah.
It's more than bags.
It is, and the quality is amazing. But I remember when I was doing my Disney parks entry, I had to I took my bags to where I was filming, and I was like, I'm not a collector. And then when they all laid out, I was like, yeah, I'm a collector. And I didn't even realize. And I know there's been other people in the social community who have done that. So diverting back to what you have just said, 2 things. One of them you've literally just forgotten, which is really annoying. But the second one, I remembered. So did you know that Loki has a second series coming out?
Yes, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in my birth month, so it's like, yay.
Okay, brilliant. Awesome. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. And secondly, we were discussing this literally just before we came on air, that basically Star Wars, Walt Disney World have had such a big news, literally just dropped before we came onto the show. So basically, for people who don't know, the Star Cruiser, I want to say the Star Cruiser.
Galactic Cruiser, yeah.
Yep, Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. That is going to be closing down. And that's going to be permanent, closed from September onwards. Have you ever considered staying there?
When it first opened up, I was so determined on doing it, and then I saw the price tag, and then obviously you have to look at the price tag, and then you have to realize I need to put flights to America on top of that, you need to put insurance on top of that, you need to put travel on top of that, you need to put a Florida holiday on top of that. And so my trip to Florida that I did last year was already half of the amount this year. Even no, it was this year. What am I on about? It was already half the amount of what a Galactic Star Cruiser is. So if you're to add all that together, it's just impossible money. And then I think it was last year they halved the price. They literally cut it in half, which is still very expensive. So I can see why they might have to shut it down, because people don't want to pay the price tag. But when you said to me before we went live that it's closing down, that did kind of make me laugh, because when I went to the Star Wars celebration in London last month, I did the Disney Parks panel. They were pushing the Galactic Star Cruiser so hard. They were giving out leaflets. They had a whole segment on it. They had a little trailer for it. And me and my dad were sat there going like, they're really trying to sell this thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
So and that kind of makes sense why they were trying to sell the idea.
So basically, most people in the chat are basically saying about the price.
It's too expensive.
Do you think there's any other reason it might be the case that they're closing?
I think it's literally just because they're not getting enough customers because people don't want to pay the price. Like, the
Yeah.
whole idea of it is amazing, and I love the idea of it. Everyone loves the idea, but very few people can afford that price tag.
Yeah. So, of course, you've probably seen pictures or maybe even vlogs about it.
Mm.
Do you, if you were Disney, what would you want the price to be for people to pay to stay?
That's a really hard one because when they were talking about it in the panel at Star Wars Celebration, and they give you an insight into what it is, it's the entire time you're there, you're in this role play. So the cast members that are working there, they're in that role that whole time. And you're in this full immersive thing. So you do have to take into consideration, like, those cast members, they need to get paid for not having any breaks. They need to stay in that character for day and night. And it's quite hard to work out where you can cut costs to keep in the fact that you need to obviously pay. Disney needs to pay for everything. All the food is themed to what you'd have if you were actually, in the Star Wars universe. So it's very hard to work out how to cut costs. And obviously, I'm not a business person, so I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just seeing if you had an opinion on it. And basically, also, they're offering discounts to DVC members, which is interesting to know. And they still have to close it, which is rather sad. Are you a DVC member?
I'm not. I'd love to be, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'd love to be one as well.
One day.
I was going to ask, because Marvel comes under Disney now, what is your favorite Marvel character? Is it Loki?
Loki. If it wasn't for Loki, I wouldn't be into Marvel, is literally the only thing.
Why Loki? What's got you into Marvel because of Loki?
Well, one, I think we can't beat around the bush and say Tom Hiddleston. That's quite a big part. Yeah. But I also just like his whole character, like how he's initially meant to be the bad guy, but then when you peel back the layers, you can understand why he is the way he is.
Yeah. Cool. And have you met him in the parks?
I haven't. When I came off of Web Slingers, him and Thor were outside, but the whole group around him was so much. But on my next trip, I have got a Loki bound planned.
Okay.
So I have to meet him in the bound. Also, yeah. I'll just show you this off camera. I got the shoulder plush.
I wanted to get that so badly when I was there.
So he's going to be part of my bound.
That would be amazing. I've never understood how the shoulder plushes work because I've got a Remy one and it just never works. So
the magnet on him is really strong, so I'm hoping it'll be fine.
Yeah, but the thing that holds the magnet on your shoulder, it just never works for me. So
I haven't tried him out yet. He's just sat on my Loki shelf. So
you have a Loki shelf. That is brilliant.
I do.
So you basically have social media. What got you into social media and what was your first thing that you started up?
So I first started Tori In Wonderland on Instagram in 2018, simply because when I had my personal account and I was like sharing pictures on there, and then just people got so bored of it because I soon realized I don't have much of a life outside of Disney and people just getting bored of that. So I was like, I'll create a separate place. And then that started to get more popular. And then that started to grow. And then that's when like Disney vloggers came about. So I was like, oh, maybe I could branch out into YouTube. And yeah, so it kind of all started just because my in real life friends were bored of me sharing Disney on my personal. And it's really funny now. My personal account doesn't even exist now because Tori In Wonderland just took over so much.
I've started sharing like my photos from my account to my Facebook account, and now people are like, oh. So I need to learn that thing where you stop sharing it both. I don't know how to do that. I'm getting on in my 30s. I'm just not very tech whizzy anymore. And do you feel that one part of your socials do better than the others? Or do you like all three types that you do? Because you're obviously on TikTok as well.
Mm-hmm. I think generally speaking, my Instagram is the best out of the three. But I quite often, between the three of them, if you take like Reels, TikToks, and YouTube Shorts into account, I recycle content. So I'll post one thing on TikTok, and then a few weeks later I'll post it on Instagram, and then a few weeks later I'll post it on YouTube Shorts. And I've noticed like one TikTok, like taking the same video, one TikTok got like 300 views, and then I posted it to Instagram and it got like 1,000 views, and I posted it to YouTube Shorts and it got over 5,000 views.
Oh wow.
So I was like, that's why I liked recycling content, because like I get like a different audience on each platform, but it's the same content.
That is a very good point. I've noticed my shorts on YouTube like woo compared to Instagram and TikTok. Like I had this reel from Stormtroopers saying goodbye citizen, and that was like 50,000 views on Instagram, and then on TikTok it was like 200.
Yeah, it's funny how it's like the same content, but
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And for people who are starting out in YouTube, for instance, because you do have a YouTube channel, what would you recommend?
So just make content that you want to watch. So like don't make what's popular at the moment. Like I've tried that. I'll see other YouTubers doing all these contents, but if it's not something I'd watch, if I'm just making it because I know it's going to get views, there's really no point.
Yeah.
You just need to make what's going to make you happy. If you're going to watch it, that's the content you need to do. Start simple. I only got a proper vlogging camera when I hit 1,000 subscribers. I started YouTube on my phone. I then went to my dad's video camera, and I only actually upgraded when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So you don't need to splash out on all the content, on everything when you begin with. Just as long as your content's good, that's what matters.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's hard to believe that your content's good, but not as in yours, but as in like yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, your content's really good. Like I do admit that sometimes I take forever to catch up, but your content really makes me smile. Because I remember you doing a vlog about your car as well, and I was like, oh, I like this.
I've literally just penciled in to do an updated version of my car tour. So
that is brilliant. Like I have a secret love for cars, so when I saw that originally I was like, ooh, exciting. I do love that you have a variety on your channel, and I feel that that's a good thing, because some people just stick to one thing, but actually like the people who want to watch you start to learn about you and get more interested in those things, and it branches out. So I think it's brilliant what you do so far. And for chat people, if you haven't seen Tori In Wonderland before, go and follow her. It's at _Tori.in.Wonderland. Is that the same for TikTok as well?
Yeah, all my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok are all the exact same.
Okay, so just go ahead and follow. If you're on my Instagram, the link is in all my stories, so you can just go and follow her there and then find her in everything else. Do you have one, just before we go, because it's near the hour, one other thing I'm going to ask you? What is your, two things actually, I tell a lie. So first of all, what is your favorite Disney park and non-Disney theme park? And this gone.
My favorite Disney theme park has to be Disneyland Paris.
Yep.
Has to be. Did you say favorite non-Disney theme park?
Yep.
Europa Park.
Cool. And the last thing I'm going to ask you for today is, what is your favorite Disney quote and why?
You are braver than you believe, smarter than you seem. No, I said that wrong. Braver than you believe. I have it somewhere. It's a Winnie the Pooh quote. It's along those lines.
I think I know the one you mean. And why do you choose that?
It's just very, like, I find it very motivating, because I do suffer quite a lot with my mental health, and it's just very nice to hear those words from Christopher Robin saying them to Pooh Bear.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I hope that you've enjoyed being my guest. I have absolutely loved having you on here. Like I said, anyone go and check out Tori In Wonderland, and she has brilliant YouTube channels previously in the past, and she has content literally 2 weeks in advance planned. So There you go. You've got enough content to start watching. Thank you all who've come along into the chat and asked questions. I hope that you have enjoyed today's show. If you have any other questions for Tori or myself, just message me on Instagram and we will get back to you, and I'll pass on a message to Tori if you have any other questions. Once again, thank you all for joining me today. I will see you next week for another bit of A Little Bit of Magic With. Take care. Let's go.